One of the biggest struggles every creative entrepreneur deals with is managing money. Where to keep it, how to get more of it, and how to keep it flowing from one account to the other. And we all have to use banks, of course, and financial institutions to keep our money. But sometimes those institutions and banks make it harder for us to actually keep money moving. That's why in this video, I'm going to share 3 banks that have helped me using the profit first method to keep the money flowing and to eliminate all that stress and anxiety when it comes to transfers, fees, and all the other stuff that makes being a creative business person a lot harder. First, let me explain why I feel this is a huge issue, not just for me, but for all of us as creatives, entrepreneurs, and people who are really focused on trying to make our money work for us. We're working so hard for our money. We are working so hard to figure out, okay, I got to get this gig, or I got to get this check, or I got to get this client. But where does all that money eventually go? Unless you're hiding it under a mattress, it's going into a bank. It's going into a financial institution. It's going to be funneled through your bank accounts and so on. And when you need to pay for something, we're all taking out our debit cards. We're all getting our Apple Pay. We're all getting our Android Pay. So pretty much everything we do financially ends up being impacted by who you are banking with or who your financial institutions are. So I feel as creatives who are called to manage our finances well, who are called to do what we do, but also be very good stewards, it's important that we are paying attention to who is holding our money when we make it. Now let me tell you the frustration thing. When you have a bank or a financial institution that you put your money in, and they take a fee out just for having account. They're making you pay just to have the account. Or they are not telling you when something is a little low and something's about to bounce. And oh, there's an overdraft fee. Or you're trying to transfer between 2 different banks and you're waiting, or you're waiting for a check to clear, or you're waiting for them to get back to you about a certain thing. And that wait is actively affecting your bottom line. So if this has happened to you, then you need to watch this section of this particular live stream, because here I'm going to tell you again, I am not a financial advisor. This is not me saying one bank is awesome for everyone. Whatever banking system you use or financial institution you use, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm going to explain why these are working for us. Okay? So the model I'm going to be discussing right now, if you've never heard of this, George, I know we just talked about this, is the profit first model. Now, profit first, if you've never heard of it, is basically a paradigm shift of how most people think of running their business finances. We are creatives here. We're talking about business. Mike Michalowicz, yes, you can say that 5 times fast. I've learned how to say it because he is an amazing author and his name deserves to be said right. Mike Michalowicz wrote this book, I think probably about 10 years ago, or maybe a little less, but it's been a while, but it's a classic now. He explains in the book why most businesses do the classic income minus expenses equals profit, and why that messes with our minds, and why it's more in the right frame to say, wait, if I want to make profit, in other words, money that actually stays in my pocket, I should put the profit first. Radical, right? Take my profit, pay myself first, and then after that, whatever's left after my expense, after my income and my profit, I'll spend the money from that expense. So if you've never heard of profit first, you might want to go check out guidinggigs.com/books. It's where we put the recommendations. It's also in the toolkit, same place. You can just go to the toolkit and it also takes you to the books. And you can check out profit first, because this is where all of these banking decisions that I've made are based on. The thing that profit first asks you to do is to set up different bank accounts, individual bank accounts, kind of like acting like little wallets or envelopes, so that you can keep track of your money instead of trying to have it all in one pot. Here's the first thing that most of us struggle with when it comes to our finances and our banks. We have it all in one pot. And then those particular pots, like those banks, are charging us fees for those particular accounts. So what Mike McCallum would suggest is to find free or fee-free, I can say that, accounts where you can store small bits of your money for your income, for your operating expenses, for your taxes, for your profit. And let's see, did I get all four? I said income, operating expenses, taxes, profit, owner's draw. Yes. So also paying yourself. Okay. So those 5 accounts, for most people in Profit First, it's really hard to find a bank that will give you 5 accounts for free. So the reason that I'm going to be recommending these first is because the banks that I have found, these are the banks that work with Profit First really well. They don't charge fees. They don't keep you waiting for your money. And again, I've tried a bunch of them. Talk about credit unions. We're talking about everything. And for some reason, these banks that I'm going to suggest to you are the ones that have worked for us. Again, we are not saying that this is the only financial institution, and if they have an issue, I'm not saying that they are, this isn't something you want to take up with the government. I'm not saying that these are the only solvent banks in the world or the only ones that are working for everyone, but they are the ones that have worked for us for this very reason. The Profit First model, ease of getting the money back and forth, working with our business, working with our personal finances, and everything through the Profit First model. These are the banks that I'm suggesting. So let's start with number 1, okay? Number 1 on the list. Doing the thing I already showed you because it's not really, doesn't make any sense to do a drum roll. I already showed you. So the first bank I'm going to discuss is called Relay, or financial institution, I should say. Now, if you've never heard of Relay, that's okay. They have not been around a long time. I didn't know about Relay before our established creative expert, LaShonda Brown, told us about Relay in her Bootstrap Biz Advice. But let me tell you something. For the last 3 months or so, I am falling in love with this bank. Now, here's the reason. Number 1, they are the official bank of Profit First. And look who is in there. I got to pull you up now, LaShonda. Look. I feel like that's a God thing. The fact that you popped in right there. Man, look, let me just tell you something. I was trying not to do this talk. I was like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not an affiliate. I don't really have, I've only been using it for a few months. I just now kind of started getting the flow. Well, let me tell you something. Because LaShonda is the person that, again, if you want to go to her links, she's talked all about Relay for the last few months. But personally speaking, this is becoming like a revolution in my own personal finance. The fact that I can quickly, y'all, put these bank accounts, these 5 bank accounts that Profit First asks, set up individual debit cards for each account. And this is the one that, again, hopefully you guys are not going to get bored by this. How many of you get paid, any of you get paid where, they send you a direct deposit, stuff like that, and they want to send it through a debit card? I don't know about you guys, but I had like things like Venmo. They want to pay it through the debit card, or they want to pay it through an account. For the longest time, that was the biggest struggle, because it's like, okay, now I got to give you my info, and I got to give my info. Which account is that? Oh, I got to get you the routing number and this and this and this. Relay made that so easy so that I can get paid directly through a specific card that goes straight to my income account. And then when I want to allocate, that's another Profit First term, when I want to allocate I want to get paid this much, 30% to my operating, 50% goes back to me, 10% goes to this, 5% goes to that. Here's the thing I love about Relay. You can then allocate by percentage. I don't have to do math. Thank you, Jesus. The app does the math. So right there inside it, I can say every Friday, put 50% in this, put 30% in that, put 50% in that, put 5% in that. Leave this minimum here. It literally automates all of that moving money around. Why is this important to cash flow? Because I don't want to spend more time organizing the finances than I do actually utilizing the finances. I'm going to say that again because I think I hit something. You are spending more time organizing your finances than utilizing your finances. If you're spending more time fooling with routing numbers, if you're spending more time trying to figure out which card to go here, which card to go there, and if you are spending more time organizing than you are utilizing, you're actually losing out on your cash flow because, and I'm here again as the poster child of wasting time organizing my finances. So the more you can automate that to get to the point where your money moves without you, you are now going to be making more money because you're spending more time on the right things creatively, on spiritually, and all the other areas of your life to actually focus. That's what Relay is doing. 100% just saying it like it is. That is what's happened over the last 2 months. I've felt a freedom in the business side of my business because I've set up the accounts. The money is moving. I know where it's moving and no fees. Thank you, Jesus. No fees when things get a little tight and they let me know. So I am really, 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 really 100% going for Relay as a place. So if you want to find out where to get into Relay, I want to tell all these particular banks, but you can go ahead and go to, because I just uploaded it, you can go to the toolkit to make, I didn't want to have any issues where you guys couldn't find this. That is where you can go if you want to find out about Relay right now, okay? Because it is right there inside the toolkit. Okay, the second bank I'm going to recommend is one you probably never heard of, and I'm glad. Because one of the things that I learned about Profit First is that the idea of setting up your accounts and setting up things where savings are put aside, so your profits are set aside, or your taxes are set aside, is to have a bank that you forget about. A bank that does not immediately pop up into your feed. You don't remember how much money it is. It stays out of sight. The bank I'm recommending for that, and the one that's worked for me for the last 5 or 6 years now, is Live Oak Bank. Again, why? Because it's super simple. They have a nice high, at this point, again, I'm just saying right now as I'm recording, it has a high interest rate compared to most savings accounts. And most of all, it is super simple, super easy, and it works. I set my money aside when I do my transfers back into my profit account or into my taxes when I needed it. When I say, oh my gosh, I forgot, I didn't pay this tax bill. Is there any money left? I'm like, oh, that's right. I have an account over there. I go check it. It's money there. I transfer it. It's there within a day or two. 2 business days, I think, has been the average. And it's done. So I suggest for your savings bank, the one that you put out of sight, this is not the bank that you can check every day. This is not the bank that you have on your phone. I have no app for Live Oak. I have no other account. I don't even save the information. I make myself go in and find it every single time because I don't want to know about this bank. This bank is the one that I hide from myself. So I highly recommend, if you don't use Live Oak, you want to find some bank that has a very simple interface, a very simple and very high yield, right? You want a high yield for your savings because you're not going to touch this very often. But more importantly, it is immediately accessible and does what it's supposed to do. This one does not need a lot of bells and whistles. And Live Oak Bank, again, shout out to them, not an affiliate, just use them. And I've had no fees, no issues. I go there, my money's there, I need it, I put it in, I take it out, no funny business. So again, if you find another bank like this that helps or works with you, go ahead and use it because that's the goal. The goal is less stress. And so you want to find a bank in the Profit First model that works with this. Thank you, Phil. I see I'm not an affiliate yet. I see you, LaShonda. Not yet. I may have already applied because I'm like, this is going to be a long-term thing. I see this as a great relationship. But I hope they will check out Bootstrap Biz Advice and find your link because that's where they can find out more about Profit First, of course, and about Relay than I can tell them here. All right. The third bank I'm going to recommend is the personal bank. Again, I'm kind of like flying through the Profit First method. So if you want more about Profit First, go check out LaShonda's video on Profit First, where she actually talked to Mike Michalowicz. That would be the best way for you to learn more about Profit First in general. But the specifics in this case are these 3 areas. The business banking, which should be separate from your personal, by the way. I hope this is clear. I hope I haven't like glossed over something. Your business banking and your personal banking should not be the same, okay? You should have separate from your business and your personal. This is something I learned the hard way, okay? Everything I'm telling you is not a financial expert, it's a financial amateur that is trying to do things better, okay? So the reason why I suggest Ally for your personal banking is the same reason I recommend Relay for your business. Because Ally has been 100% easier for me to get those 5 accounts. Just like in business, I've set up the separate accounts in Ally and I've been able to get easy access. They have not charged me any fees. Cover draft is a thing where even if you go under, they will still cover it for a certain amount of money. So you don't have to worry about getting those overdrafts where you get over and over and over and eventually like you're running out of money because it's literally taking money out of your account. So I love Ally for that reason. I love them for the free accounts that they've set up. And I love them for the fact that they have been super responsive. I've never had an issue. And some of you might say, well, I need a physical bank. Ally doesn't necessarily have branches. I get it. That's kind of scary for me too. But I've never had an issue with depositing anything for Ally having a totally digital bank. Relay is the same, totally digital. Don't have a thread. Don't have a what's it called? Don't have a branch thread. They don't have a branch, but they are still 100% accessible. Anytime I've needed it, it goes there. So Ally, again, I can give you a link for Ally, but you can also find it on the tool page. Okay, you can go to godandgifts.com/ally if you want to go ahead and check that out if you want to switch banks or check them out. But the easiest way is to go to godandgifts.com/toolkit where I put all of these banks. I don't think I put Live Oak yet. I might have to put Live Oak because I don't, again, they're like the hidden bank. They're like the bank that nobody knows about, that even I forget about. So maybe you won't check out Live Oak. I just saw a comment from LaShonda about savings. Highly recommend a high yield savings account. I love SoFi for that. Thank you. That is a huge reminder there that there are other banks that have high yield savings accounts. And again, the point about Profit First is there should be some money that's out of your hands that is sitting there and is collecting, and it is still accessible. Think Dave Ramsey, think rainy day fund, right? So there should be a rainy day fund that you can actually still get to the money, but it also is saving you and getting you interest in the meantime. So that is the 3. Let's go quickly over the 3 recommendations. Relay for your business account. This is where you can set up your 5 accounts for Profit First. That 2 accounts where he recommends that you set them out of sight, I recommend Live Oak. And Ally Personal Bank for your personal accounting, because just like Relay does, Ally also allows you to set up more accounts, multiple accounts that work for the Profit First mentality of setting up these little envelope systems where you can go into individual accounts. And I know some people are like, that's too much managing. Once you get used to it, it really isn't. It really does not feel like I'm managing 5 accounts. It's not. It's just one account with 5 different places, little buckets. That's it. Matter of fact, I think Ally calls them buckets. So you just have 5 buckets where you can put your money, and you know exactly how much you have for reoccurring, how much you have for the savings account, how much you have. We call ours. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you what ours are called. I get excited when I talk so fast. We have our Life Happens account. That's what we call our savings. Life Happens. Then we have our recurring expenses. So anything that's recurring, that's where that goes. Then we have day-to-day expenses. That's where day-to-day. So things that aren't recurring, I pay for my gas, and it's not recurring. It's every once in a while, but it's pretty common. So I need to have my gas money. There's an account for that. There's an account for accelerator. That's the thing where we're paying off our debts faster. So we put that in accelerator. That's kind of like an acceleration of that debt payment, right? So everything there is set up so that I know exactly how much money I have in each of these individual buckets, which follows a Profit First mentality. So I highly suggest, once again, go check out Bootstrap Biz Advice if you want to check out more about Profit First, Mike Michalowicz, the book. You can go to our book site, once again, godandgifts.com/toolkit, to find out about Profit First as well if you want to get a copy. But this is what I recommend for your 3 banks to make your cash flow easier, because none of these banks are holding on to my money longer than they should. Transfers are fast, no fees, and I'm able to set up everything the way I like. My friend, thank you for watching this episode. If that blessed you, you got to make sure that you stay connected with this community and this channel so that you can get more where that came from. We're sharing great interviews, tactics, strategies, mindsets, lifestyle choices, everything that's going to help you become a totally confident creative. And don't miss an episode of the God and Gig Show. If you are staying connected to our channel, you'll be able to find us anytime we release new episodes. And you can check out some of our archives of almost 200 episodes now that we've shared over the last few years. Make sure you check out one of the suggestions right now because it's probably perfect for you to continue to develop as a creative. And continue to stay connected with us because we're here to help you become the creative that God created you to be. We'll see you in the next episode.